Bitch, this man needs to be institutionalized. Point blank, period.
End of sentence.
Like, somebody please take this man's phone away, dip it in holy water, grind it up in a blender, seal it in a crate, and then launch that bitch directly into the fucking Mariana Trench. Because why? Why is the president of the United States posting AI-generated alien warfare edits while actively threatening an entire country? These posts look like they were uploaded by a psych ward patient who discovered Midjourney during a carbon monoxide leak. Meanwhile, he is posting all of this while threatening Iran. The clock is ticking, Iran. What clock, bitch? On your pacemaker? Hi, everyone. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scrape. So while the Middle East is inching closer and closer to another catastrophic regional conflict, Donald Trump has apparently decided that the appropriate response is uploading space battle propaganda. Meanwhile, Gulf leaders allegedly had to convince Trump to delay striking Iran. The fact that the man posting these AI-generated photos is also the man in charge of commanding strikes is terrifying! Meanwhile, actual human beings are dying. Israeli strikes reportedly killed civilians in Lebanon, including children. Hezbollah is launching projectiles. Drone strikes are hitting near nuclear infrastructure. And world leaders keep using phrases like full-scale assault and dangerous escalation. The fact that this is the reality we all live in, beyond me. Like, truly beyond me. You bitches will release absolutely anything before you release those Epstein files, huh? Bitch, I don't give a fuck about these newly released UAP extraterrestrial files. I accepted aliens were real in like the 3rd grade when my best friend's neighbor's dad showed us a locked room in his home dedicated strictly to extraterrestrial paraphernalia. Like, I'm talking about walls covered in newspaper clippings, strings and thumbtacks connected to different astral events. The shit literally, I'm not even joking, the entire room looked like this. He had handmade UFO models hanging from the fucking ceiling. That shit looked like a schizophrenic Hobby Lobby. Mind you, this man is dropping tons of information on us about UAPs, extraterrestrials, government programs, and I'm like 7 or 8 years old. But that's a story for another day. Sorry, I got carried away. Aliens don't do shit for me. They aren't paying my taxes. They aren't paying my electric bill. They're not deciding the healthcare policy in this country. Aliens aren't running billion-dollar corporations or sitting in powerful positions in government. I mean, as far as I fucking know. Like, honestly, they could be. But what I care about is whether billionaires bribing politicians, billionaires in our government, were assaulting minors while everyone conveniently looked the other way. And at this point, the fact that you bitches keep hanging every other distraction you can in front of the public is just affirming everybody's beliefs that you are all pedos. Because until those files are released, technically everything is just hearsay. So quit dropping the truth about extraterrestrials. I don't give a fuck about that shit. Like, we know they're real. Release the fucking files.
If I gave a homeless person $1, I would take it back just because I would like to see the sadness on his face of me, you know, tricking him, thinking I'm going to give him money.
Bitch, do you want to know something deeply horrifying? Apparently, we are currently in the midst of something called the learning recession. Oh, so bitches are just stupid. Yeah. Future generations are fucked. Hi, everyone. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. For years, people have been standing around being like, COVID destroyed education. Meanwhile, this new report at Stanford and Harvard basically walked into the room and it said, actually, these sorry motherfuckers have been cognitively declining since 2013. So this has been a decade-long education collapse. Because around 2013, 2 things happened. 1, schools stopped aggressively forcing testing accountability. And 2, social media usage among teenagers exploded. Oh, wow. You mean to tell me that academic performance started collapsing around the exact same time we collectively introduced children to infinite scrolling dopamine machines created by motherfuckers in the Silicon Valley? Who would have thought? Groundbreaking. Truly. And before any of you old-ass bitches who have one foot in the grave start blaming children, actually, the reports found that the lowest income districts started recovering the fastest in math after the pandemic. Why? Because they got federal relief money for tutoring and intervention programs. Which means the solution this entire fucking time might have just been to fund schools. Who could have predicted that providing educational institutions with resources might improve, I don't know, education? You know what's terrifying? The fact that I'm about to tell you something that's absolutely horrific, and some people's brains are already preparing to check out and scroll away from this video. A little boy named Yaman was sleeping in a tent, and in the middle of the night, he was attacked by rodents. He woke up screaming. His family had to rush him to a medical facility to give him shots to make sure he didn't pick up any diseases. And before some of you go, oh my God, that's horrible, and then proceed to go on with the rest of your day, I need you to understand that this isn't some random isolated horror story. This is what happens when human beings are forced to survive in conditions that human beings should never have to live through. Summer temperatures are rising, rodents are spreading rapidly throughout the camps in Gaza, families are living in tents with almost no protection, no sanitation, no real safety. Imagine being a parent and instead of having to worry about whether or not your child is going to pass a class, every single day you have to worry about whether or not a storm is going to wash your tent away, wondering what might kill your child first, starvation, disease, or a bomb. And now you have to worry about rats crawling on top of your child while they sleep. This isn't politics. This is human suffering. Mr. Momen is trying to raise enough money to rent out a home where his family can actually be safe, somewhere they can sleep without constant danger around them. Mind you, he has a family of 6. And trust me, I know, the internet moves fast. I know people are easily overwhelmed and feel powerless. But if you were able to help, even a small donation matters. And if you can't donate, sharing Momen's GoFundMe will help immensely. That way, if you can't donate, someone who can will hopefully see it. Nobody should become emotionally numb to something like this, especially with children and babies involved. As always, I love you guys. You want to know what's genuinely fascinating to me? The same people constantly screaming about protecting children are somehow the same people advocating against children learning about sex education, consent, contraceptives, STDs, STD prevention, birth control, gender identity, their own body. Literally basic healthcare information. Like, girl, what exactly is the long-term plan here? Because removing education while simultaneously removing healthcare access, that feels less like morality and more like you're trying to accelerate societal collapse. I was recently reading about how access to healthcare has been shrinking across parts of the country, and the numbers are honestly terrifying. Breast exams are dropping. STI testing is declining. People are losing access to birth control. Health centers are shutting down. And what I find deeply disturbing about all of this is that people reduce this entire conversation down to one word: abortion. Meanwhile, reproductive health care also includes cancer screenings, Pap tests, STI testing, prenatal care, mental health services, birth control, hormone therapy, general healthcare visits. And then I saw lawmakers and commentators are calling falling teen pregnancy rates a crisis. Crisis? Falling teen pregnancy rates is a crisis. Do you even hear yourselves? So you mean to tell me that more education, more access to contraception, and more informed choices resulted in fewer teen pregnancies? Oh my God, this can't be happening. Somebody call the Pentagon and tell them that teenagers are learning what cause and effect is. Hello? And another thing that disturbed me are these crisis pregnancy centers. And they're basically fake health clinics that present themselves as actual medical centers. Professional looking websites, ultrasound machines, staff in white coats. But critics say that some of them are designed to emotionally pressure or mislead people who are seeking reproductive health care. If your ideology requires tricking people instead of informing them, that should maybe set off some alarm bells. And before I see someone in my comment section saying that supporting reproductive health care is encouraging promiscuity, no babe, it's acknowledging reality. Humans have sex. Humans get pregnant. Humans get assaulted. Humans get STDs. And humans deserve information and health care. That should not be controversial. Cut the fucking cameras.
Cut the cameras. Dead ass.
Haven't we been through enough? Girl, we have the fucking hantavirus and now this. Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. The World Health Organization just declared a global health emergency over an Ebola outbreak spreading through parts of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda. And before anybody's like, well, at least there's a vaccine. No, the fuck there isn't. Well, at least not for this strain. Because this outbreak is being caused by the Bundibugyo strain of Ebola, which has a fatality rate of 25 to 45%. And the symptoms? Fever, muscle pain, vomiting, diarrhea, rashes, internal bleeding, external bleeding. Basically, your entire body checks the fuck out. Now, what's even more terrifying is experts think this outbreak is far more widespread than what's currently being reported, because multiple people showed up infected in Uganda and had no connection to each other whatsoever. And if that wasn't enough, aid groups are saying this outbreak may have gone undetected for weeks because of war, humanitarian collapse, cuts to the healthcare infrastructure. I wonder who did that. But yeah, there's currently no approved vaccine for this strain while cases spread. But at least they're saying the immediate risk to the US public is low. I'm sorry, but low is not good enough. I need that shit to be 0%. So why does the Department of Homeland Security suddenly sound like it's beta testing a fucking episode of Black Mirror? Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. So the DHS and Canada are planning a joint experiment where autonomous drones and robotic vehicles patrol the US-Canada border using 5G networks to live stream surveillance footage back and forth between both countries. Okay, cute. Sounds reasonable enough. Now, they're saying it's for emergency response and search and rescue. But my question here is, why does the document repeatedly mention battlefield intelligence, command and control, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, terminology linked to military kill chains? Mind you, that's not all. They also keep emphasizing persistent surveillance. Persistent. As in
Constant.
So now we're building fleets of AI-powered drones that can autonomously cross borders while streaming real-time surveillance footage through commercial 5G networks. At what point do we admit that we're heading towards a future where an algorithm can track you by a Celsius at a random gas station off of Route 66? And would you look at that? Several of the companies positioned to benefit from all of this have ties to Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump. So you bitches want AI towers, autonomous drones, live reconnaissance feed, cross-border data sharing. Like at this point, the US doesn't feel like a country. It feels like a startup trying to turn civil liberties into a subscription service.
What did you just put in your pocket? No, I saw you put something in your pocket. What was that?
You're gonna work. You're not gonna bitch. You're not gonna moan. You're gonna listen to every motherfucking word that comes out of my mouth. You're not gonna blink without permission.
So let me get this straight. There was a cruise ship outbreak involving a virus with a 30 to 50% mortality rate. And instead of immediately locking shit down, quarantining people, sounding fucking alarms, they basically went, okay, everyone, thank you for sailing with us. Have safe travels home. And now we're finding out that this strain of the hantavirus that's currently being passed around is the only strain that can spread person to person. Glad to see that after COVID, humanity collectively learned absolutely fucking nothing. Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. Girl, they sent about 40 people that were on the cruise with the hantavirus to all corners of the earth. And they did that before realizing that the people on that ship were exposed to the Andy strain of the hantavirus. The only strain that can spread person to person. So now health officials are contact tracing people across multiple continents playing Where's Fucking Waldo, being like, hey, quick question here. Have you recently been exposed to a rodent apocalypse cruise plague? And the list of people that were sent home include people from the United States. The United fucking States! Why would you let people casually just disembark a ship after people were already dying on the ship from this virus? You couldn't have given it a little more time to figure out which strain of the virus this was? A little more time to actually contain the virus? No. You just sent those bitches home. Now, good news, even though this is the Andy strain and it's spread person to person, it usually requires very close, prolonged contact to spread. But this is also the same virus that can fill your lungs up with fluid and has up to a 50% mortality rate. So I don't really feel any safer knowing that it's harder to spread than COVID, because the mortality rate of this virus is up to 47% more. Meanwhile, officials are like, public risk remains low. And to be fair, medically speaking, yeah, they're probably right. Experts are saying that this virus spreads very poorly between people. But after the past 6 years, we still haven't learned. You bitches are dumb. Like, it's actually like you're dumb. I know how easy it is to get caught up in the absolute existential dread that has been caused by everything happening in the world right now. We've all been distracted by political drama, AI slob, a president who could pass for having stage 5 dementia. There are currently humanitarian boats trying to reach Gaza. They're carrying food, medical aid, civilians from dozens of countries, and Israeli forces are unlawfully intercepting them in international waters. A coalition called the Global Samud Flotilla says 54 vessels carrying over 400 people sailed toward Gaza to try and deliver humanitarian aid. According to organizers, Israeli forces intercepted 39 of those boats. Not smugglers, not armed militants. We're talking aid workers, activists, civilians, people trying to bring supplies to a population that humanitarian organizations have repeatedly warned are facing catastrophic conditions. And what's deeply disturbing is how normal this kind of imagery has become. Military ships surrounding civilian aid vessels, all being caught on live stream. Aid workers speaking on live stream, demanding safe passage, explaining what's happening to them in broad daylight in hopes that anybody will listen, and half the internet scrolls past it like it's background noise. We should never become so desensitized to human suffering that a humanitarian aid mission being intercepted at sea stops feeling shocking. Even hearing Israeli extremists saying things like this.
So what would you do to the Palestinians living here?
Here, like in the old city, we were okay. I think Islam is cancer, and you don't transfer cancer to another patient. That's not moral. You have to destroy cancer.
Genocide doesn't begin with mass graves. It begins when people normalize language about an entire group of human beings being unworthy of safety, dignity, food, life. I've spoken about families like Mrs. Amani and Mrs. Amal because at the center of all of this, there are people actually trying to survive this every single day. If you didn't know, Eid al-Adha is on May 27th this year, and families like Mrs. Amani's, Mrs. Amal's, and my friend Ahmed's are simply asking that we help their children get clothes, toys, treats, all things very normal to give children on Eid. So if you have the means, I have all of their GoFundMes linked in my bio. If you can't donate, please share this video or share their GoFundMes. That way, hopefully, it will reach somebody who can. And as always, I love you guys. Okay, let's try this. You shaved your bush! You shaved your bush. You shaved your bush? You shaved your bush. I can't believe this is a trend, but I think I kind of killed it. Wait! So there's currently a possibility that 2 massive marine heat waves
could merge together
off the coast of California, which would then destabilize weather patterns across a massive portion of the United States. I fear Mother Earth is self-aware and fed up with all of our bullshit, so now she's experimenting on all of us with psychological warfare. Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the daily scrape. Scientists are currently tracking 2 enormous marine heat waves in the Pacific Ocean. One has already been lingering near California since May of 2025. So our ocean's been cooking longer than some of you have had a job. And now the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, they're monitoring whether another massive heat wave will merge with it later this year. Now, the first heat wave, that's already causing ocean temperatures off the West Coast to hit some of the warmest levels ever recorded for this time of year. And this is all happening before a potential El Nino event, which would warm the Pacific Ocean even more, making it hotter and causing more extreme weather. Scientists are basically staring into the Pacific right now like, oh wow, that's not supposed to do that, huh? Because the ocean isn't just water. The ocean regulates heat, the weather, atmospheric patterns. It's literally a coolant system for the Earth. And right now, that coolant system is fried and smoking. Researchers are warning that this could contribute to hotter temperatures, drought intensifications, water shortages, humidity spikes, dry thunderstorms. But don't worry, guys. Scientists have actually started calling this the new normal. I'm sorry. The new normal? What happened to the old normal? Can we get her back?
At least I'm not on crack. Out of all of the things I'm struggling with in life, crack is not one of them. A win is a win.
There is something deeply unsettling about what I'm about to share with all of you. Not just because of the allegation itself, but because of who the allegation is against. 4 police officers, This is one of them, Jay at Waru. Unfortunately, I can't find a photo of the other 3 officers, but a woman says she went out drinking with them in San Francisco. This was after one of her friends had been talking to one of the officers online. She then says after taking 1 shot, she blacked out and later woke up partially undressed in a hotel room next to one of the officers while the other officers were just packing up to leave. And according to her account, when she was asking all of them what had happened, none of them answered. They just kept packing and left. And a friend that was also present that night provided a similar account. Imagine being in that situation, confused, disoriented, and the men around you, police officers no less, men who are supposed to represent safety and protection, are ignoring you and packing their bags while you're half undressed on a bed. She later underwent a rape kit exam. There's been no public confirmation that DNA from the officers was identified. Regardless, prosecutors said there was insufficient evidence, and I think people need to understand something, because this isn't like an episode of CSI. People hear insufficient evidence and immediately assume that nothing actually happened. That's not what prosecutors said, though. Prosecutors acknowledged that investigators had enough evidence for probable cause arrest warrants, but ultimately said they couldn't prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt, which is a much higher legal standard. And cases involving intoxication, blackouts, fragmented memory, a lack of witnesses, they are incredibly difficult to prosecute. But regardless of where someone stands legally, morally, there's still a much larger question at play here. How does somebody become so incapacitated after 1 shot that they lose memory of the entire night, wake up partially undressed in a hotel room with 4 officers around them, and nobody stopped to question whether that woman was able to consent in the first place? Yeah, no, something is off.
I don't want to steal drugs from my father. I don't want to go inside a monster, and I don't want to die.
I say it's worth a shot.
Yes, I agree. Let's do it.
Bitch, what do you mean the president just settled a lawsuit with the government by using the government to protect himself from the government? Let me explain this slowly. Trump sued the IRS for leaking his tax returns. Okay, sure, that happened. But now, the federal government has agreed to permanently stop investigating Trump and his companies over taxes
forever.
Let me provide an analogy to help that make more sense. That's like getting caught by the school principal for doing something bad, and then midway through being reprimanded by your principal, you become the principal. And then the Department of Justice announced a $1.7 billion anti-weaponization fund. So people who think they were politically targeted by investigations, including by the Biden administration, can now apply for money from the government. Mind you, this is taxpayer funded. Oh, and you want to know who else can apply for money from this anti-weaponization fund? Potentially January 6th Capitol rioters. You know, the people who injured and killed police officers while storming the Capitol building after Trump incited an insurrection because he lost the election and got his shrimp dick feelings hurt. So now the executive branch is creating a giant taxpayer-funded reimbursement system for the people who were investigated by the executive branch. This country feels like if the Real Housewives and The Purge had a baby and let that baby run the IRS. So, just to give a little recap, Trump sued the IRS, settled with himself, created a $1 billion victim compensation fund for his allies, and refuses to rule out Capitol rioters. By the way, for everybody who voted for this dimwit, how are those grocery and gas prices doing? Yeah. Every time the government releases disturbing new alien footage, it always somehow coincides with humanity actively collapsing in real time. Like, I'm supposed to sit here fascinated that a glowing orb moved over the fucking ocean and then submerged itself underwater. Bitch, Americans have to choose between food or insulin. You bitches could announce tomorrow that extraterrestrials built the pyramids without a shadow of a doubt, 100% true. And my first question would still be, can we have universal health care? And honestly, if aliens are real and they've been watching us this entire time, first of all, fuck you bitches. Second of all, that is deeply embarrassing for us. Imagine traveling billions of light years just to arrive on Earth and find out we still argue over whether or not children deserve to eat. Imagine being an all-knowing cosmic entity witnessing humanity build AI, split atoms, map out the human genome, and then watching us make our teachers buy their own school supplies for their students. Aliens aren't shocking to me anymore, bitch. Like, I'm sorry, get a new shtick. Went to the movies last night to see the new horror movie The Passenger with my roommate, and when we got home, she followed me around the house like this. Now, I would have recorded a video of her making demonic noises and scratching me, but unfortunately I was too busy screaming.
I can't be in this position so long.
I say this with the utmost love in my heart because I have several, and I mean several mutuals who I saw do this trend. But if you did that AI baseball jumbotron trend where you're like sitting in a stadium and AI makes it look like you're on a jumbotron, girl, that shit looks fucking stupid. Like, it looks so fucking stupid, bitch. It looks unnatural. Like, first of all, it doesn't look real. I don't know if the point of the trend is to look real, like have it look like you're actually at a baseball game, but I can assure you beyond a shadow of a doubt that looks like straight up AI. It does not look real at all. And half of the videos I've been seeing just look like a hot fucking mess. I don't know who started this trend, but they did not have your best interest at heart, babe. It's giving Sky Jackson's third AI pregnancy on Snapchat stories. Like, that's what it's giving, babe. Like, and that's not a good thing. Hot fucking mess. Like, a hot mess. So if you have one of those fuck ass videos just sitting in your drafts, delete that shit. Never upload it. For all my mutuals and friends that already uploaded their videos, I'm not gonna tell you to take it down. Stand by that shit. Yeah, maybe lie and say that you were actually at a baseball game. Like, I don't know. Actually, I lied. Take that shit down. Take that shit down! Today, I'm gonna explain world events in the simplest terms possible so you can all comprehend how absurd all this shit actually sounds. Donald Trump is suing parts of the government while controlling parts of the government and making it harder for the government to investigate him. So the government is basically regulating itself while protecting itself from being regulated. Trump created a multi-billion-dollar taxpayer-funded compensation program January 6 rioters can now apply for after they stormed the Capitol and injured police. The people regulating artificial intelligence are using artificial intelligence to regulate artificial intelligence. Billionaires are preparing for societal collapse while telling everyone that the world and economy are fine. ICE agents are conducting raids and claim they're doing nothing illegal while simultaneously wearing masks and threatening anybody who records them so they won't be identified. The government is telling us that detention centers are safe and humane. Meanwhile, people inside detention centers report sickness, overcrowding, neglect, abuse, a lack of medical care, and also deaths under custody. We've also witnessed immigration agents kill U.S. citizens in broad daylight while their families continue to demand accountability. Climate disasters are getting worse while governments expand oil production. Every new disease or virus outbreak becomes breaking news online because we're all scared of a potential COVID 2.0. Meanwhile, we've all become desensitized to it. Artificial intelligence is replacing workers faster than laws can regulate it. The government insists nobody is above the law. Meanwhile, powerful people continue to completely avoid the law. Groceries, rent, housing, and healthcare have all become more expensive while the ultra-wealthy avoid paying taxes. And every day, people wake up, open their phones, absorb all of this information at once, and somehow, despite all of this, everyone is still expected to function normally. So if you feel the world sounds absolutely batshit insane right now, that's because it is. Maybe I'm insane, but why is the DHS acting like emotionally reckless reality TV stars with federal funding? A 28-year-old man named Christian Cerna was driving with his partner and 2 children, including a 5-month-old baby. ICE agents rammed into his car with unmarked vehicles, threw flashbang grenades near his car, jumped out with assault rifles, and started screaming commands. And if that wasn't enough, they filmed the entire fucking thing. And they didn't just treat this as body cam footage evidence, they used it as high-quality social media footage. The DHS went out of its way to grab a ring light and tactical vests just so they could traumatize a family for some fucking Twitter engagement. And before any of you dumb bitches hop in my comment section talking about but Christian threatened officers at a protest, and you still don't ram a car carrying 2 toddlers, point rifles at children, deploy flashbang grenades, and then upload the footage online as if traumatizing children is some sort of public relations strategy. Especially because the DHS posted the footage themselves. Bitch, you are Homeland Security. And regardless of your politics, when armed federal agencies start treating public humiliation like it's a fucking communication strategy, history tends to remember those moments very poorly.
Alright now, it ain't that funny.
Come on. Here we go the fuck again! Another day, another global fucking conflict that could potentially lead to
Another fucking war.
I'm sick of it. I'm sick and tired of it. Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, and you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scrape. Donald Trump flew to China for this giant diplomatic summit, and Xi Jinping basically looked at Trump and said, girl, if you keep fucking around with Taiwan, you're gonna find out, because this could end in conflict. Meanwhile, Trump's dumbass is sitting there like, Xi, you are such a great leader. I am honored to be your friend. Babe, this bitch just told you that there's a potential war creeping over the horizon, and ass kissing might work on you, but it clearly does not work on everybody else. Because then Xi Jinping starts talking about the Thucydides trap, which is a political theory that basically says when a rising global power threatens to dominate another one, it usually ends in war. I'm just so glad our world leaders are casually discussing historical patterns of catastrophic global conflict while the rest of us are rationing cans of food. And the reason this is all happening is because China claims that Taiwan belongs to them. Taiwan very much disagrees, and the US keeps selling Taiwan weapons while also trying to avoid directly poking China, aka one of the world's largest nuclear superpowers. I will say though, super relieved that the geopolitical tension between nuclear superpowers has remained consistent, because now we all get to wake up every single day and pick an international conflict we'd like to monitor. Russia, Iran, China. Who will it be tomorrow? I'm literally about to move to the middle of nowhere, buy a plot, start a commune, and then start living off the land, because I literally, I can't. I thought it would be fun to read off some headlines that sound completely fake and dystopian, but are actually 100% real. Using AI to write police reports. This actually comes straight from USDOJ.gov. Governor signs bill requiring law enforcement to disclose use of AI in police reports. This is actually from Senate.ca.gov. These are official government websites. Masked federal agents undermine the rule of law. The rise of emotional surveillance. This one is an article on how AI now has insight into the depths of human emotion. Too much work? Have your digital twin handle it. This is an article about how executives have created AI replicas to take over their workload. They're using AI to take over their responsibilities. Federal government expands facial recognition without legal framework. That one's pretty self-explanatory. How ICE agents are using facial recognition technology to bring surveillance to the streets. The super rich preppers planning to save themselves from the apocalypse. This article is about how tech billionaires are buying underground bunkers, making them lavish as fuck, stockpiling supplies inside of them, and have hired military personnel as security. So, yeah, just in case you were curious, those are all 100% real. I love life. Bitch, I'm gonna kindly request that everybody sit the fuck down, shut the fuck up, and open up your fucking ears. Because what do you mean we lost over 100 samples of deadly viruses in a lab? Not oh no, I misplaced my AirPod. No, I mean, where the fuck did they go? Oh yeah, and one of those viruses was the hantavirus, because of course it was. Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scrape. In 2024, Australia casually announced that a state-run laboratory somehow misplaced over 100 vials of virus samples when a freezer broke, including the hantavirus. And now, in 2026, we have an international hantavirus cruise ship outbreak spanning across 12 countries. And then we have this fuck-ass tweet from 2022 where the person posted, 2023, coronavirus ends. 2026, hantavirus. Oh, and what's even crazier, vaccine companies were already researching hantavirus vaccine! So you're telling me there was a mysterious biosecurity breach, missing virus samples, cruise ship outbreak, international contact tracing, people self-isolating across multiple continents, and vaccine companies already researching hantavirus vaccines? And look, before anybody starts calling me a conspiracy theorist wearing a tinfoil hat, health officials are already saying that the public risk is low. But the optics here are crazy. Clearly, we learned nothing from COVID. And honestly, the scariest part isn't even the fucking virus. It's how fast public trust has completely collapsed. Because people don't trust governments, labs, pharmaceutical companies, the media, and that's a nightmare scenario for democracy and public health. Oh yeah, and in the meantime, maybe stop letting people disembark off of plagued cruise ships.
I'm gonna need you to let me go. I don't think I can do that. Why the fuck not? Because, bitch, I'm a savage and I'm done.
I would just like to know who the culprit is who turned me and Ladybug Fire Queen 2020 into wee me characters. Because enough is enough. Quick Spence Wuah lore drop in case you haven't been here since 2020. Back in 2020, Ladybug Fire Queen 2020 made a video about me. This is said video.
Spence Wuah, we need to be friends. Period, hands down, everything.
All was fine. Like, all was fine for a few years. And then this year, I made the horrible mistake of duetting somebody's video that used that clip, and everything went downhill. Everything!
Everything changed when
Ladybug Fire Queen 2020
attacked.
Ladybug Fire Queen 2020 got really mad at me because I didn't tag him. He made a whole ass video being like, you need to tag me in that video. I don't care if it's just like a comment, but tag me. And I was like, okay, heard. Tagged him in a comment. Not even 20 minutes later, he uploaded another video saying that tagging him in a comment actually wasn't enough and he wanted me to upload an apology video on Instagram and TikTok and tag him in both of those videos. Even though I wasn't even the one who posted the original fucking video. Like, I duetted a fucking video. Needless to say, I never posted that apology video. Ooh, and shit went downhill fast. This man proceeded to upload at least 5 10-minute videos, just dragging me through the mud. Called me a mean, skinny bitch. Said that I deserved people running up to me on the sidewalk, shoving their cameras in my face, saying slurs. He also said this.
And like I said, you just is doing this because you're a messy, sloppy bottom. That's what you are. You're a messy, sloppy bottom.
Not gonna lie, he kind of ate that. Obviously, I have since been blocked, so I'm really hoping that Ladybug Fire Queen does not see this. But he called me a messy, sloppy bottom, a skinny, mean bitch. Said I deserve to have people run up to me with their cameras in my face saying slurs. All because I duetted a video and then didn't make 2 apology videos tagging him. I didn't even say anything mean about him. Like, I didn't even say anything bad. All of that to say, I'm just going to kindly request that everybody stop making memes out of me and Ladybug Fire Queen 2020 because I fear that bitch is a ticking time bomb. Like, she is a sleeping dragon and I am truly scared to see what happens if we wake her up. Experts are now warning that AI surveillance is expanding so aggressively that it might become
irreversible.
Bitch, have you not seen Terminator, The Matrix, iRobot, Ex Machina, Black Mirror? Bitch, Oppenheimer? Have you learned nothing? Jojo, have you learned nothing? Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scrape. Right now, governments and corporations are collecting unfathomable amounts of data on people while simultaneously integrating artificial intelligence into policing, immigration surveillance, facial recognition, cyber warfare, propaganda systems, and even predictive monitoring, which means we are essentially giving a machine access to our faces, voices, locations, messages, search histories, spending habits, behavioral patterns, political beliefs, biometric data. Meanwhile, we have hackers using AI to create scams that are so realistic that experts are saying that in the near future, you might not even be able to tell if your boss is actually your own boss. As in, like, you get a phone call from a hacker pretending to be your boss telling you to wire them $14,000 or you'll lose your job and pension. And that voice sounds exactly like your boss because artificial intelligence cloned it. Girl, we're like one software update away from getting psychologically profiled by a refrigerator with Wi-Fi. Mind you, the people building AI are also the ones warning that it could potentially become uncontrollable. Researchers are openly discussing AI cyber attacks, AI-generated pathogens, AI manipulation, autonomous weapons, deepfake propaganda, mass surveillance, which sounds dystopian until you realize that Nobel Prize winners and actual experts are literally signing public statements saying that AI extinction risk should be treated similarly to nuclear warfare and pandemics. We may be the first civilization in history to create something capable of replacing us, while simultaneously giving it access to Ring cameras and nuclear infrastructure. But don't worry, guys. Trump just called off plans that would have created a framework for our government to investigate the national security risk of AI systems before they're released to the public. Anyways, sleep tight, everyone. Right. So apparently this is where we're at as a society right now. The United States and Iran are currently in a ceasefire while simultaneously bombing the fuck out of one another. But don't worry, guys. This is all just self-defense. Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scrape. The best way I could possibly describe this is like 2 people agreeing to stop punching each other and instead have decided to start throwing bricks through one another's window. And the negotiations to avoid further escalation are now being delayed over disagreements in wording. Not territory, not missiles, not military withdrawals. Sentence structure! Do you understand how absolutely batshit, deeply unserious, historically embarrassing, borderline satirical, cognitively dissonant levels of stupid that is? We, as an advanced civilization, are one poorly structured paragraph away from economic collapse. And while that shit is all happening, Israel is expanding operations in Lebanon, Hezbollah and Israel are exchanging strikes, Iran says American drones have violated airspace, explosions are being reported in the Strait of Hormuz, which, might I remind you, is one of the most important trade routes on Earth. And honestly, like, at this point, humanity feels technologically advanced enough to live in a safe world. One where nobody's hungry, nobody dies over resources, nobody has to fear war. But somehow, we're still emotionally incapable of doing any of that. And honestly, that might be the most terrifying part. Just want to check in really quick, because I want to make sure we're all on the same page about today, because it's Cinco de Mayo, a day of celebration, culture, history, community. So if you voted for Trump, support his policies, or even cheer on the people he's put in power to do all of his dirty work, bitch, I better not catch you outside with a sombrero on, holding a pina colada, talking about some,
oh my God, happy Cinco de Mayo!
You don't get to vote for people pushing anti-immigration policies. You don't get to support mass deportations. You don't get to be silent when families are being separated, targeted, and criminalized, and then clock in today as if it's some themed party. You can't just pick up an entire culture today and then return it tomorrow. Especially when you're actively supporting policies that are making life harder for people who created that culture. That's not celebration, that's straight up fucking hypocrisy. You cannot be politically anti-immigrant and socially arriba! Pick a lane, bitch. Because culture isn't just the fun parts. It's the people, the history, the community. The communities this current administration is tearing apart. So if you can't respect the people whose holiday you're celebrating, you don't get to enjoy the party. Especially if your beliefs completely contradict the people you're celebrating. So, yeah, you can sit this one out, bitch. Quick question. What do you call it when someone loses an election, insists it was fake, and then later gains control over the same institution that can help prove it was fake? Oh. You didn't know? You pretty much get where we are right now with the Trump administration. I would like everybody to close their eyes and think back to 2020. Trust me, I know it's difficult, but I have a point to make. Remember when people were yelling, "This is a rigged election!" But the only evidence they had were from tweets, a few press conferences built on misinformation, and a lot of speculation. Now, I'd like you to open your eyes and fast forward to the present, and imagine those claims, but they're now backed by the DOJ, the FBI, and federal agents. That's not a hypothetical situation. That's literally where we're at right now. The Justice Department recently told Wayne County, Michigan, hand over everything from the 2024 election. We want envelopes, ballots, records, and this isn't isolated. A similar move already happened in Georgia earlier this year. And this is the part people miss. This isn't random. It's a system. There are 3 steps. Deceive, disrupt, deny. Deceive. Create the illusion that something is wrong. Disrupt. Interfere with how voting actually works. Deny. Reject any results you don't like. And here's how this plays out. First, they seize election materials. Then they claim they found irregularities. Then those claims become the excuse to do the exact same thing somewhere else. Repeat that enough times and suddenly people don't trust the system even if there was nothing wrong to begin with. It's like showing up to a game and realizing that the rules were quietly changed before you got there. You can still play and you can still score, but the outcome, it's leaning in one direction, towards Trump. But here's the key part. This only works if people get overwhelmed, confused, or completely disengaged, which is exactly what they want. Because reality is, our elections are still state-run and resilient, which means this isn't over and it's not decided. So what actually matters right now? Show up early. Stay informed. Back the people running elections. Don't let misinformation go unchecked. Because this isn't about left versus right. It's about whether the rules remain consistent or whether the people in power get to rewrite them mid-game. So you let the bitches on the cruise with the hantavirus go back home, and now the hantavirus is spreading! Here is a map of where the hantavirus is currently being monitored in the US. And all I'd really like to say here is you bitches are actually fucking stupid! You had one job. Like, your literal one job was to contain the virus. Like, I'm sorry, I know there were over 150 people on that cruise ship, but they should have stayed on that cruise ship. You should have contained the virus, figured out what fucking strain it was, before sending these bitches home to every fucking continent on the globe. Because now you sit here and you're like, oh, it's not easily spreadable, but it's being spread. Like, people are catching the hantavirus. There are already 4 cases in California. I don't give a fuck if it's hard to spread, bitch. The mortality rate is 50%. That's a coin toss. That's literally flipping a fucking coin to see if you're gonna die. And all you had to do was keep those bitches aboard. Even I know that. Even I know that. I'm not even a fucking health professional. But if I knew there was a cruise carrying a deadly fucking virus, first step on the agenda, not letting anybody off the ship and quarantining everybody. Second step on the agenda, finding out which strain it is. Like, I'm convinced you bitches are willfully stupid. Like, you're willfully fucking stupid. Because it doesn't even take half a brain cell. Half a fucking brain cell to know you should have never let those bitches off that cruise in the first place. And again, sorry to everybody on that cruise. I understand why you'd want to go home. I understand why you want to get off that fucking cruise ship. I would too. I would too if I knew there was a deadly virus floating around the bitch. But at least it was contained. You were on a ship in the middle of the fucking ocean, not on the mainland, so it couldn't spread as easily between people. Sorry to those 150 plus people, but you should have just stayed on that fucking cruise ship. Well, if I didn't think that our government was trying to kill us before, I sure as fuck do now! Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. The new 2026 Farm Bill, which has already passed the House, says that states, cities, and even courts are no longer required to add additional warning labels on pesticides. Even if new research comes out about its harmful effects, even if your local government is like, hey, maybe we should tell people that this causes cancer. Legally, they can't add stronger warnings if it goes beyond the federal label. Oh yeah, and if companies follow that federal label, even if it doesn't include newer risks or updated research, they can't be held liable for not warning you. So if you get sick, something even as serious as cancer, as long as they followed the federal label, they're largely protected from lawsuits over not warning you. So let me just summarize this for the bitches in the back of the class. We have chemicals being sprayed on our food, and the warnings you're allowed to see are the ones that have already been approved at a federal level, and nobody else is allowed to add to it. Right, yeah, that makes sense. Let's actually limit how much we can be warned about toxins. Yep, that feels safe. So now there's federal pressure to keep pesticide use strong for agricultural and food supply reasons. But now we're in a situation where it's like, don't worry, we need these pesticides to feed all of you. But also, don't ask too many questions about it. At what point do we stop calling this efficiency and start calling this what it actually is? Controlled information. Because I don't know about you guys, but if the only people allowed to warn me about something potentially harmful are the same ones approving it, bitch, that's not transparency. That's limiting what we're allowed to know and then putting a bow on top of it. At this point, it kind of just feels like we're speedrunning the Book of Revelation. We have bees swarming Israel, floods, fire, the ocean heating up like a microwave, AI doing whatever the fuck AI does, politicians depicting themselves and acting as though they're God, and now this. What the fuck is going on? Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. So there is currently a rodent-borne virus that has been suspected of killing multiple people on a luxury cruise ship in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And now the ship is just floating because no country wants to let these poor motherfuckers dock. The virus is called the hantavirus, which, by the way, is one of those diseases that starts off like, oh, I just have the common flu, and then it fills your lungs with fluids and or shuts your kidneys down, and the fatality rate is up to 35%. How do you contract it, you might be wondering? By breathing in air that's been contaminated by rodent urine or rodent droppings. So the air. It's airborne. Now, before anybody starts panicking, health officials are saying that the risk to the general public is low. It doesn't spread easily between people. But also, at the same exact time, they're like, we don't really understand why it kills some people and not other people. Oh, and by the way, there's no cure. So the treatment is basically just a wish and a fucking prayer. Meanwhile, this cruise ship has over 100 people aboard, multiple deaths, some people are in critical condition, and again, no country wants to let them dock because it's the hantavirus. They're currently trying to figure out ways to evacuate people on the ship who haven't been affected by the virus. But just for a second, I would like everybody to take a quick zoom out with me me. Because over the past few years, we've had a global pandemic, mutating bird flu, new mosquito viruses, and now this. I don't know. You can call me a conspiracy theorist, but this doesn't feel like it's a series of isolated events.
Excuse me, was the food good at the restaurant? What should I order? I don't know. I'm on Ozempic, bitch.
Ebola is spreading across multiple countries. Nearly 2,000 measles cases are in the U.S. currently. And now, the same cruise ship linked to the deadly hantavirus outbreak is going to set sail again! I am so sick and tired of you stupid fucking bitches. Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the daily scrape. Are you bitches dense in the fucking skull? I feel like I'm trapped inside of a horror movie where I already know the ending, but everyone else around me keeps making decisions to get themselves killed. Like the cruise ship that had a deadly virus. Yeah, let's have that same ship set sail again. 3 people died from that rare rodent disease just for this company to be like, good news, guys. We spread some hydrogen peroxide and we're ready to go. Girl, we did not survive a global pandemic just for some dumb bitches to hop back on a Norwegian biohazard tube named the Hondas. And did you forget that the hantavirus strain involved is one of the only strains capable of spreading person to person? Meanwhile, the CDC is monitoring the people who were aboard that ship for 42 days. So you mean to tell me these bitches are being monitored for 42 days, meanwhile the ship is set to depart in 4? Yeah, the ship is meant to set sail in 4 days. And while this is happening, Ebola cases are actively rising in Uganda and Congo. There's no approved vaccine for this specific strain. Border closures are failing. People are still crossing through unmonitored. And measles, a disease humanity pretty much wiped out in the 1900s, is making a comeback. Because apparently, some of you dumb bitches decided that medical science is optional and or not real. At this point, I'm not even joking. It's survival of the fittest. You want to hop aboard that ship? You go right ahead. You don't want to get vaccinated for measles? Go right ahead.
Are you all right? Yeah. No, you are all left.
I think one of the most unsettling parts of the internet is how human suffering has somehow become tied to an engagement cycle. People online treat humanitarian crises like trending topics instead of human beings who are still actively trapped inside of them. People will watch videos of neighborhoods being bombed while eating lunch, repost it, and then comment a sad emoji, and then 2 swipes later, they're watching somebody rank slimes. That's why I wanted to talk about my friends who are currently in Gaza, Ahmed, Amani, and Amal, as well as their families who are still living there. Because despite people hearing the atrocities taking place in Palestine for years now, there are people like Ahmed's, Amani's, and Amal's families who still every single day wake up inside of it. They don't get to log off. They don't get to close an app. They don't get to take a break from discourse because it's stressing them out. If you didn't know, Eid al-Adha is upon us, a time that's supposed to be centered around family, community, generosity, prayer, being with people you love. And there are families trying to celebrate this holiday while also surviving in conditions that none of us could imagine. These families should be able to celebrate this holiday without worrying about where their next meal is going to come from, without worrying about when the next bomb will strike. Their children deserve to open gifts. Their families need our help. They still need our support. And I know some people think that a small donation doesn't help, but it actually does. When enough people each do a little bit, that can help an entire family eat, relocate, access basic necessities, or simply survive another week. So if you're able to donate, please do. I have Ahmed, Amal's, and Amani's GoFundMes linked in my bio. If you can't donate, please at least share their GoFundMes. That way, if you can't donate, hopefully their links will reach somebody who can. Because again, anything helps. And as always, I love you guys. That Ebola outbreak in Congo is spreading significantly faster than what health officials initially thought to nuke the fucking planet.
Nuke the fucking planet!
Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the daily scrape. The World Health Organization basically just announced, hey, great news everyone. We actually have no idea where this outbreak started, how many people really have it, or who patient 0 is. Isn't that comforting? Incredibly comforting information to hear about Ebola. And this isn't even the normal Ebola strain they usually deal with. This is a far rarer strain called Bundibugyo Ebola. Health workers are literally saying, we're overwhelmed, undertrained, underprotected, and we're running out of room. Meanwhile, Meanwhile, these hospitals are so full that suspected Ebola patients are now sharing wards with sick and injured people, as in people who don't have the virus. Well, for now. Oh, okay. Okay. Mind you, the outbreak spread undetected for weeks. And that's because doctors originally tested for a different strain and it came back negative, which means this strain was basically moving through communities like, surprise, bitch. People are reportedly bleeding, vomiting, collapsing suddenly, and they're dying before proper isolation systems can be set up. Meanwhile, masks and disinfectants are becoming too expensive for a lot of people because prices are skyrocketing. And if that wasn't enough, the outbreaks are happening in areas controlled by armed rebel groups. So doctors are trying to contain one of the deadliest viruses on Earth while navigating active conflict zones. Potential vaccines for this strain are reportedly 6 to 9 months away. 6 to 9 months! No. Imagine being 19 years old, stressed out about finals, running on Celsius, Adderall, and academic validation, trying to submit your paper before midnight, and then the United States government is like, yeah, but how woman is this women's college actually? Because that is exactly what is happening at Smith College currently. Girl, like what? What are we doing? Bitch, people are trying to pass their finals. Meanwhile, the Department of Education is outside standing with a clipboard conducting womanhood inspections. And this is where it starts feeling a little dystopian. Because once the government officially investigates who or what counts as being a real woman, that opens a very weird door. Like, who decides? Politicians, federal agencies, and whether you agree with trans inclusion or not. You should probably be concerned anytime any sort of government becomes obsessed with categorizing human beings as valid or invalid. These girls are already fighting for their lives against sleep deprivation and Canvas notifications, babe. Leave these poor girls alone. It's literally finals week for them. Instead of investigating the girls at Smith College, why don't you start investigating the people whose names showed up in the Epstein files 10,000 fucking times? Like, I don't know, Donald Trump? I've created a list of things society has normalized that are objectively insane. Our phones listen to us to curate ads. We give apps access to facial scanning. Apps collect our fingerprints, voices, faces, browsing history, our contacts, our location, messages. Terms and conditions are longer than college dissertations, but we all click agree anyways without actually knowing what we're agreeing to, because what else are we supposed to fucking do? School children in elementary school, as in kindergarten, first grade, pre-K, they all have to do active shooter drills. Healthcare in the United States is tied to your employment status. People in charge of health insurance claims aren't actually doctors or physicians. Like, they're the ones in charge of saying whether or not your life-saving surgery is covered by insurance. And a vast majority of them have no educational background in medicine. AI now determines whether or not resumes are seen by actual human beings. Cities are covered in surveillance cameras that use AI facial recognition. You quite literally need a subscription for almost everything. Children are growing up entirely online. Companies are allowed to harvest your biometric data. If you live in a smart home, your home literally tracks your behavior so it can have a sense of what you need. Corporations have replaced customer service with fuck-ass chatbots. Social media has started determining beauty standards globally. AI can clone human voices. Governments can track your social media activity. Giant corporations that make billions of dollars pay less in taxes than the average person. There are people becoming emotionally attached to artificial intelligence. If you have any more, feel free to share, but that's all I got for now. Well, looks like these bitches are so pro-life, they'll fucking kill you! How do you become so pro-life you circle back around to legalizing homicide? Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. Lawmakers in North Carolina, mind you, this is one of them, Keith Kidwell. I mean, the photo speaks for itself. But they're trying to pass a bill that would classify abortion as first-degree murder, while also including language that would justify using deadly force to stop someone from getting an abortion. Before some of you think I'm exaggerating, the wording in this bill is so absurdly broad that legal experts and advocates are literally warning that this could apply to people seeking abortions, doctors performing them, people driving someone to the clinic, and potentially even forms of birth control like IUDs. And that's because this bill is trying to define life as beginning at fertilization. Do you understand how medically and scientifically catastrophic that wording wording is, an IUD works in part by making fertilization extremely difficult. Meaning, under this psychotic legal framework, a fertilized egg not being implanted could suddenly become destroying a human life. So congrats, bitch. Your birth control might now qualify as a homicide investigation in North Carolina. And the deadly force language? Critics are already warning that this could be a get-out-of-jail-free card for abusive men. Imagine being in court and a man goes, "Yes, Your Honor, I did in fact murder my girlfriend. But that's because I thought she might get an IUD." Now, if you're thinking, that sounds insane. Because it is insane! This is what happens when politicians start legislating based on ideology instead of medicine, science, or basic common fucking sense. And even if this specific bill dies, people need to stop treating these proposals as unserious nonsense. Because laws like this are how extremists test waters. 10 years ago, people said they'd never overturn Roe v. Wade. And now we're debating whether people with IUDs could theoretically be treated as murder suspects and or be murdered. That's not a slippery slope anymore, bitch. We're at the bottom of the hill doing cartwheels. Since the majority of my videos about geopolitics are being suppressed, we're unfortunately gonna have to start using code words. So from this point forward, whenever I say red, white, and blew up another country, just know I'm talking about. Whenever I say I ran out of patience, know that I'm talking about. And whenever I say the moldy, rotting sack of meat in a navy suit, I'm referring to this man right here. Anyways, last night, red, white, and blew up another country, and I ran out of patience, started bombing each other. Again! Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. Don't worry, guys. Even though countries are bombing each other, they're saying it's a measured defensive response. Measured self-defense. Bitch, you fired missiles! So red, white, and blew up a country shot down several drones near the Strait of Hormuz because they said they posted a threat. Then I ran out of patience, retaliated, and started firing missiles back. And now both sides are standing there pointing at each other like this. He started it! Meanwhile, this moldy, rotting sack of meat is sitting in meetings talking about this war as if it's a Netflix series that's just been renewed. Saying shit like, well, Vietnam lasted 19 years. Afghanistan lasted years. Right, well, we don't want another Vietnam or Afghanistan! Human civilization has currently reached a peak of technological advancement that we have never seen before. We have artificial intelligence, quantum computing, fiber optic internet. Yet our entire global market is currently collapsing because old-ass men don't know how to get the fuck along. So Western intelligence agencies are now warning that we're entering what they're calling a new era of radical uncertainty. You know, that's exactly what you want to hear from someone whose entire job is preventing global catastrophe. Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. The head of UK Cyber Intelligence Agency just gave a speech warning that AI is becoming an unstoppable force that's being weaponized in ways that falls just below traditional warfare. Meaning countries are no longer just fighting with missiles and soldiers. No. Now it's cyber attacks, AI systems, mass surveillance, misinformation, satellite warfare. We've also been warned that the chances of the world accidentally stumbling into catastrophic conflict is now extremely high. They also said we're living in a space between war and peace, which makes sense considering AI is advancing faster than governments can regulate it. Countries are building AI-powered cyber weapons. Hackers are targeting hospitals, power grids, schools, infrastructure. Satellites are becoming military assets. And intelligence agencies are warning that warfare itself is being automated. Like humanity really created some of the most powerful technology in human history during one of the most politically unstable periods in modern history. You hear that sizzling, babe? Yeah, we're not cooked, we're being deep fried. Guys, I'm like scared. I feel like the time as a concept is so just like beyond me at this point. The Met Gala is today. What the fuck is going on? I swear to God, like the Met Gala just happened. Like it literally just happened. This cannot be real life. Like this cannot be real life. What do you actually mean? Like what do you mean? I feel like just last week I was watching celebrities walk up a flight of stairs in outfits that look like fucking furniture. And we're back at it again. No, guys, come on. I don't understand. Time's not real. Time is not real. Like, I swear, people were just rating Met Gala outfits. Like, they were just rating them. Or was that a year ago? Did a full year already pass? Did a full year already fucking pass? Because if so, I don't remember living it. I don't remember living it. Honestly, if you told me that the Met Gala was quarterly, like it happened 4 times a year, I'd believe you. I would fully, without a shadow of a doubt, believe you. My head hurts. My head hurts. If there's one thing about our current president, it's that bitch will beef with anyone. And the Pope is not excluded from that list. Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. Trump just accused the Pope of endangering Catholics for saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't be casually flirting with nuclear warfare. Mind you, Trump wants to talk about the Pope endangering Catholics. Bitch, you endangered our entire nation the second you pushed us into a war with Iran. All Pope Leo said was, hey, maybe peace. And Trump heard, oh wow, so you support Iran having nukes. The Pope literally had to come out and be like, actually, the church has been against nuclear weapons for years. Babe, imagine being the Pope and having to fact check the President of the United States about Catholicism. That's like Gordon Ramsay having to explain what soup is. And Trump got so mad, he called the Pope weak on crime, terrible on foreign policy, and then posted an AI image of himself looking like Jesus. Mind you, the Pope has nothing to do with handling crime or foreign policy. He's the head of the Catholic Church. I thought that was self-explanatory. Like, imagine trying to explain this headline to somebody in 2012. The American president accused the Pope of supporting Iran having nuclear weapons after the Pope advocated for peace. They would send you to a psychiatric facility. But that is the reality of the world that we live in right now. All I'm gonna say is that when world leaders start treating diplomacy and religious institutions like it's an online Twitter stan war, that isn't funny. That's human civilization entering a cognitive decline. And clearly, because we have nuclear tensions rising, countries further escalating conflicts, and the United States president currently arguing with the Pope. Bitch, I need a cigarette. So, the United States just released their 2026 counterterrorism strategy, and 2 of the threats they specifically mention are violent left-wing extremists and people with radically pro-transgender ideologies. Bitch, that sounds less like a national security document and more like a Fox News comment section that got formatted into a PDF. Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. Now, let's use our fucking brains for a second here. Because counterterrorism is not casual wording. That's the same category used for ISIS, Al-Qaeda, mass casualty attacks, terror cells. So when governments start placing broad ideological identities into counterterrorism frameworks, that matters. And what's even scarier is how vague the language is here. Because according to the strategy, they want to, and I quote, identify their membership, map them at home, track their ties to organizations. Bitch, what does radically pro-transgender even fucking mean? A trans person existing? A teacher with a pride flag? Someone that uses they, them pronouns and has great eyeliner? And before some dumbass hops in my comments section being like, violence should be condemned. Yeah, bitch, no one here is defending violence. But there is a massive difference between targeting actual violent acts and, I don't know, creating broad ideological identities so loose they can absorb basically anybody the government does not like politically. That's the issue. Like, do you see it? And honestly, this is bigger than just one policy. It's about what kind of democracy we want to live in. Bitch, in case you were unaware, because I was, Nebraska, apparently has a federally funded quarantine bunker. 1, why am I just now hearing about this? 2, that actually doesn't make me feel safer at all. And 3, when everybody collectively said we wanted a break, we didn't mean a fucking outbreak! Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. So a cruise ship hantavirus outbreak killed multiple people, and now passengers are being transferred to America's only quarantine unit. And before everybody starts screaming, this isn't the next COVID! Yeah, bitch, I fucking know. Experts have already said it spreads very poorly between people. You need prolonged contact, and public risk is low. But respectfully, that information becomes slightly less calming when you find out that the mortality rate of the hantavirus is between 30 and 47%. Even less calming when you know that the virus can fill your lungs up with fluid and shut down your kidneys. And even less calming when the infected people are being moved into negative pressure quarantine chambers with rooftop high-efficiency particulate air filtration systems. Oh, great. So we built a deluxe human terrarium for infectious diseases. Bitch, if you told me this facility was built to contain the fucking cordyceps virus from HBO's The Last of Us, I'd believe you immediately. Like, we've fully adapted to living inside unprecedented times. Because that's all we've ever known. I literally heard highly hazardous infectious disease unit, and my first thought was, great, here we go again.
Do you have a history of mental illness? Yes.
Amazing news, everyone. The government isn't spying on you. They're just
collecting everyone you've ever talked to and saving those conversations.
totally different. Welcome to Section 702. Hi, everyone. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scrape. Congress just quietly extended Section 702 for another 45 days, and this law is supposed to target foreigners that are abroad. But what they don't tell you, because of course they wouldn't, is that when these foreigners talk to Americans via text, email, call, those get pulled in and stored. And once your data is in that system, the FBI can search for it without a warrant, without a judge, without you even knowing about it. They call it a backdoor search, which is a very polite way of saying, we already have your data, so we're just gonna look through it. And before you think this is rare, in 2021 alone, the FBI ran 3.4 million searches on Americans' data. 3.4 million! Civil rights leaders were monitored. Activists were monitored because the government has a history of targeting people based on politics, not just threats. Which is why laws like this were supposed to have guardrails. But instead, we built a system where your messages can be collected, stored for years, searched without a warrant, and used in cases that have nothing to do with national security. And here's the kicker. A federal judge said that these searches should require a warrant. And Congress responded by extending that program anyways. And the oversight for Section 702, the court doesn't approve individual surveillance targets. It just approves the method. That's literally like a judge saying, yeah, I trust the system. Go nuts, bitch. And we still don't even know how many Americans are affected because our government won't release the number. So here's the situation. Your private conversations could be sitting in a government database right now and you wouldn't even know. But don't worry, it's for your safety.